What is going on, guys? Average Player here with a deck profile again for the For Hire deck. Or Spright deck, Runick For Hire Spright. As you can see, the side deck's different. There's a few cards changed out from the main deck because I don't have all the Runick cards still. But I still do play a bigger Spright package. But I will tell you what cards should come out for other specific cards. So, get into it. 3 copies of blue. We're gonna do a different layout for the deck profile today. 2 jet, 2 red, and 1 carrot. I think this ratio is good. Some people run 1 red and throw the red in the side, and some people don't run carrot. But I like it. I like to try to make it more of a control-oriented deck where like a carrot and a red combined with a couple other monsters makes it to where you have 2 different negations on board. With the possibility of a negate and destroy for each. On top of having another Omni negate and other pops that solicit your combo even more, including some hand traps. I feel like that's the best way to do it. Like I said, because we play more of a Spright engine than other cards in the deck. Next is 3 Rex. I'm going to go 3 Rex, 3 Fossil Dig, 1 Dampa, 1 Beat, 1 Wrath. So, I'm not going to explain the combo very much, as I, to clarify, have used both the Mayhem line and the Rookie line. They're both good. Beat is a very good card, and I can set up technically a bigger board for less with Beat. But in my opinion, the Rex line adding Mayhem, it allows you to play around the nib. So if you do get nibbed, you can still make your cards. Because you use Mayhem to revive the Rex or whatever else is on your board. Use Rex and the token from nib to make Donner. Use its effect, revive 2. Link those 2 away for something else. Say IP Masquerader or whatever. Maybe trigger the Beat or whatever you want to trigger. You know, and still make your board that you want to make. Playing through with Mayhem instead of, you know, you know what I'm trying to say. Instead of having the Rookie. And the only way it really works with Rookie that makes it the best is if you have an extra for hire card in your hand. And it has to be, you have to normal summon Rex or get a Rex on board with Donner or Dampa, and then add Mayhem, special the Mayhem, and then you have to have another for hire card in hand. So when you do special summon, you can use Mayhem to add Raphael to excavate, because now you have 3 on board. Excavate 3, add 1. But we'll get into that with the combo tutorial. But I feel like you just have to have at least 2 monsters that are for hire in your hand in order for the Beat to be good through Rookie. But that's just me. Even if you don't use it the way I was talking about. Even if you just normal summon Rex, add Rookie, tribute off Rex, summon Beat, summon another for hire, and you can just get your advantage that way. That's completely fine too, but you also have to draw the extra for hire, and I feel like that's the only way it's actually really good. But to continue with hand traps, 3 Ash, 2 Nib, 2 Imperm, and a Called By. I feel like Imperm can get cut. And the only reason why I play Imperm is because I don't have a 3rd Destruction. I don't have 3 Flashing Fires. And I do plan on using another Destruction. There's a card later on that I do want to cut down, but I like to keep it in because it is a really good card that I like to play, and especially good in this deck. And I'll tell you why later. Next is spells for Spright, 2 starter. You can cut that down to 1. I've seen builds cut it down to 1. If you want to play more of a Runick base and a for hire base, you can definitely cut it down to 1. Or when you're siding, you can cut it down to 1. It doesn't really matter. Rookie Mayhem. They're both good in their own right. I can see what people say the rookie line's good, but I like the Mayhem line. I feel like this gives me more with the way that I play the deck and the way that I have it built. Next, we're going with the Runick cards. 2 Fountain, 2 Tip, 2 Freezing Curses, 2 Destruction, and 1 Flashing Fire. Now, I said you can cut both Imperms to add 2 more Flashing Fire. And you can technically cut a starter to add any one of these cards, a Tip, Freezing Curses, Destruction at 3. If you want to play more of a Runick engine. And then the last 2 spell cards you can also cut down to play more Runick cards. But I feel like this is a good card for this deck. The draw 2 is amazing because you can get into those Runick cards that you want, or the for hire cards that you want. Or if you're going second, you can change of heart your opponent's card. Or if you're going second, you can change of heart your opponent's card. And because your for hire links require different attributes, or not different attributes, different types, it does help out a lot. The extra deck hasn't changed at all, so I'm not going to really go through it that much. Just going to try to puke them out. 1 Sprint, 1 IP, 1 Azalea, 1 Abermax, 2 Donner, and 2 Falgo. I feel like this is pretty good. You can honestly cut Sprint if you want to. The only way this comes up for me is if I need to have that extra level 2 engrave. That's a for hire, but that almost never comes up. So you can kind of like cut Sprint and you can play like another XC or whatever. That is all user preference, to be honest. The Runick fusions, we played 2 Hugin, 1 Munin, and 1 Jerry. The reason why we played 2 and 1 and 1, Jerry's only very situational in some matches. Munin is only good for the negate, and Hugin's good to get your fountain, and it also is a level 2, so you can do more things with it. 2 copies of Gigantic and 1 Mannequin Cat. And if you don't play Sprint, which you don't have to play, you can play another board breaker card, or if you want to, you could play probably Access Code Talker if you really wanted to. I don't see why you would. It doesn't really matter what's up. If you want to cut the Sprint, you can play basically whatever you want, in my opinion, as a level 2, rank 2, or as a rank 2 or link 2. As long as you're able to play to play to what you like, and able to make great boards and win games. Like the Sprint, I'm not taking mine out because I don't know what I want to change it out for yet. I've thought about Cat Shark. I've thought about Onibimaru Soul Sweeper. I've thought about replacing it with Dark the Dark Charmer, which is a really good card. I'm still trying to figure that part out. I could take it out though. But next to decide, we're going to go over this one pretty slowly. So 3 copies of DD Crow. This card is absolutely fucking crazy. You just banish a card in the graveyard, or banish a card in the graveyard. In your opponent's graveyard, sorry. And most cases, it's really good, especially if your opponent has cards like Rex to target a card. By banishing target a card, add it to hand, a special summon it, you just banish the card summoned. Now, I do need another one of these, but I play 2 Phantasme. And you don't necessarily have to play it. Not every deck plays a link-based strategy, but there's a few decks in my locals that play it, so I play Phantasme. But you don't have to play Phantasme. You can definitely play other cards. You can definitely play Herald and the Thrust package. It doesn't really matter. I do play those. Next is 2 copies of Droll. Now, I love Droll. It is really good. It comes up against Flu with me, and then it's also good against other combo decks that are there, like Vanadium. It's good against Vanadium. And then Branded, it slows down, but it doesn't stop them. Flu absolutely destroys them. I love Droll. It's really good. Next, I actually have had this card for a while, and I haven't really played it. It's Wiz. For those of you who don't know what Wiz does, I gain 500 LP for each from higher monster I control with a different name, except itself. And then it's a Spell or Trap Negate. but it doesn't destroy. But it's still in the gate for spells or traps. And it is a for hire, and it is a different type, so you can still use it for your stuff. And in the going, and not in the going second match, but if you're siding and you're going first, you can play this and summon it out. It gives you an extra for hire to be able to draw. Unfortunately, if you draw this and that's the only thing you draw, it's kind of sucky. Unless you have a way to normal summon it, but that kind of sucks. Gamma Burst is in here, but I'm gonna cut it later on. Don't know what for. Actually, I do know what for. That's gonna be the third Phantasme. But I do play Gamma Burst, and it actually does come up. So if you don't want to cut this, you don't have to. But it does come up if you're just stuck with your 2s, right? Like say you have no choice. You have to starter that turn, or you have to Gigantic Spright, and you're stuck in the 2s, and you're going second. The Gamma Burst is going to help you clear your opponent's board and beat it over. So when it comes down to it, you can try to make the plays that matter after the fact on main phase 2, like making IP Masquerade to set up the destruction game and the control game on your opponent's turn. It's really up to you. Next, 2 Lightning Storm and the Duster. These are good. This is good against Makanko, and these are good against Makanko. Lightning Storm is just good because it's also Raigeki. Labyrinth Falls. A couple other decks. It's just not really clicking right now. 2 copies of Judgment. And everybody who's seen my videos know that I love Judgment. It's probably one of the best trap cards ever printed. I just love it when I have it set. My opponent, when I know they have to normal summon a card to get their stuff off, and I Judgment them, and they just can't do anything. Because their combo generally, if their combo relies on them normal summoning, then it doesn't really. I'm not saying it doesn't really. If the combo relies on them normal summoning, then it absolutely screws them while I'm sitting there laughing to the bank because it's just an easy dub. You know, in Branded, when you have the Branded Fusion, when they activate Branded Fusion and you ash them, and then they say, okay, normal summon, and you're like, okay, no, Solemn Judgment, then they're just kind of stuck there and they can't really do anything. But I'm not going into the combo video tonight. I will record a combo video some other day and go through it step by step and what my thought process is. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer video. And tell you guys in the combo, or actually I'll tell you guys now, but what I take out when it comes to siding, I'll take out a red. And I'll take out imperms. Depending on if I'm going second or first, the nibs come out. Because if I'm going first, I'm taking out the nibs for probably 2 Judgment. The red is still coming out. And if I'm going first, the triple attack's coming out too, so I can play other hand traps. Like, I probably will throw in the Crow. I'll probably throw in Wiz. Doesn't really matter, but those are the cards that I take out. Those are good, like, 4 or 5 cards that I take out of my deck to play for the side. But unfortunately, I've been having some issues with my tongue. I did some damage to it. You know, just regular things. So I've been having some problems with keeping my tongue straight and trying not to talk with it. Not with it, but like talk using that side of my mouth as much. So I'm not going to try to do a combo tutorial tonight. I will do it some other day when I'm a little bit more rested and my tongue is a little bit better off. But I did a lot of talking for being in a lot of fucking pain because of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's not much of a change, but it's a little bit of a change that matters. When I make the really big changes with the side, the extra, and the main, I will do an update. But I mostly wanted to do this now to get it out of the way and tell you guys my thought on the other rookie thing. But when I go through the combo tutorial, I will try to explain to you guys what I'm thinking as I'm going through the combo tutorial and try to make it as slow as tedious as possible, because the way I play a deck might not be necessarily the way that you guys will play a deck, and that's okay. Not everybody has to play the deck the same, because if everybody did, then everybody would be predictable. But I hope you all have a good night. See ya.